My boyfriend's family said I was now part of the family. They let me in, trusted me, made me feel safe. Until one night I overheard something I wasn't supposed to hear, and that's when I realized I wasn't family at all. I was something else entirely, and once I knew the truth, there was no going back. They said I was part of the family. Mark's mom said it first, at a Sunday dinner with too many forks on the table and too many voices overlapping. She hugged me hard, wine on her breath, and said, "You're one of us now." Mark grinned. His dad raised a glass. His sisters clinked theirs and said I was a keeper. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I was part of something real, something loud and messy and all in. I grew up with polite silences, and we'll talk about it later. With birthday cards instead of birthday calls, with people who loved each other but never made a scene. Mark's family was a beautiful kind of chaos. They made a scene. Every dinner was a debate. Someone was always laughing, someone was always yelling, and someone was always reaching over someone else to grab a dish no one passed fast enough. They were affectionate in a way that made me forget to be guarded. Mark's mom kissed my cheek before I left. His dad texted me photos of his homemade pasta. His cousin Ben called me Cuz like it was a nickname and not a bloodline. And Mark, he was steady, the eye in the storm. He'd slide his hand into mine under the table. Rub slow circles on my back when I got quiet. When I told him I wasn't used to this kind of love, the volume of it, he said, "Good. Then you'll never take it for granted." We'd been dating 7 months. It wasn't the longest relationship I'd had, but it was the easiest. The kind where your toothbrush ends up in his cabinet before you realize you've started sleeping over more than you sleep at home. So when April came and the backyard party was announced, I was excited. It wasn't just a barbecue. It was the spring gathering, something they did every year since Mark's grandfather built the patio himself in the 80s. The whole extended family showed up. Aunts, cousins, kids, dogs, neighbors who didn't knock. Mark introduced me to everyone like I'd already been around for years. He said, "This is Sophie. Not my girlfriend, just Sophie." Like I didn't need a label anymore, like I was already assumed to be theirs. Ben was there early as usual. He was the kind of cousin who stuck close to Mark, to the family, to the familiar. He and Mark had that childhood bond turned brotherhood kind of thing, inside jokes, shared glances, like they were always in on something together. Ben teased me about my playlist choices, called my hummus bougie, tried to swap out the hot dogs for something spicier when no one was looking. Mark rolled his eyes at him and said, "Ignore him, he thinks sarcasm is a love language." We all laughed. I ran point on the speaker setup, took pictures while Mark's mom made everyone pose like it was a wedding, helped set out the s'mores trays. It felt like I'd been assigned a role, not just a guest, a cast member, and I liked it. The photos were chaotic and wonderful. Everyone half smiling, someone blinking, someone else caught mid-laugh. I even caught a few of Ben and Mark whispering to each other near the garage. Didn't think anything of it. Just cousins being cousins. At one point, Ben offered to run to the store, something about needing more ice, more soda, more something. He asked who wanted anything. Mark waved him off. I didn't pay much attention. He left, came back. We all went on eating like the night hadn't missed a beat. Later, Mark kissed the top of my head and said, "My mom loves you." I said, "She told me I was one of you." He said, "You are." And I believed him. So when the party wrapped and I helped clean up and Mark's mom hugged me again and whispered, "This family's ride or die," I smiled. I thought it meant I was safe. I thought I was in. But I didn't know what I was helping cover. Not yet. The knock came on a Wednesday. Around 6 p.m., I was still in my work clothes, halfway through reheating leftovers, barefoot, scrolling mindlessly on my phone while the microwave hummed. I wasn't expecting anyone. At first, I thought maybe it was Mark. He'd done that a few times, shown up unannounced with wine and some sarcastic comment about how my couch was better than his. But when I opened the door, it wasn't Mark. 2 people stood there. A man and a woman, both in plain clothes, but the kind of plain that's a little too deliberate. Both holding badges. The woman spoke first. "Sophie Carter." I nodded. "We'd like to ask you a few questions. About the evening of April 15th. I blinked. April? Then it hit me. The party, Mark's family's backyard, the music, the fire pit, the group photos. "Sure," I said, stepping back, confused but trying not to show it. "Come in." They didn't sit, just hovered. The man pulled out a small notebook. "Can you tell us where you were that evening?" I smiled politely, like someone who had nothing to hide. "Yeah, I was at Mark's parents' place. It was a family party. We got there around 6:30, I think. Stayed till midnight." "Who's we?" Mark and me, his sisters, his cousin Ben, a few aunts and uncles, his parents obviously. I helped set up, take pictures, we had a fire pit going, it was a whole thing. They nodded. Wrote things down. What time did you arrive again? 6:30, I repeated. Maybe 6:40, I can check my photos, I was taking a lot that night. And what time was the fire pit lit? I shrugged. After dark. 8ish. Who was with you most of the night? Mark, his mom. Everyone was kind of floating around, Ben was there too. The man looked up. Ben stayed the whole night. Yeah, I said easily. He was with us the whole time. And that's when it happened. They both stopped writing. Their eyes met just for a second, but something passed between them, like they knew something I didn't, like my answer had just rearranged something. My stomach dropped. Why? I asked. What's this about? The woman closed her notebook. We're just following up on a timeline. What timeline? We appreciate your cooperation, the man said. If we have more questions, we'll reach out. They left as quickly as they came, and I just stood there, microwave long finished, food forgotten, my mind suddenly pulling back every moment of that night, Ben's joke about the hummus. The sound of his car pulling out of the driveway. Wait, hadn't he gone to get ice? I tried to remember, did he really stay the whole time? I thought he had, but now I wasn't sure. That glance between the detectives stayed with me long after the door shut. It wasn't just a routine question. I hadn't just answered something, I'd given something, and whatever it was, it mattered. Mark said it was nothing. He laughed when I told him, wrapped his arms around me like I'd just said something ridiculous. They're just fishing, he said. Probably got some tip from a nosy neighbor or something, you know how it is. I tried to laugh with him, tried to believe it, but I couldn't shake the way those detectives looked at each other, like they'd caught something, like I'd handed them something useful. Still, I didn't push, until the next morning. I was brushing my teeth when I scrolled through the news. Not a deep dive, just idle tapping, like background noise for my brain. But then I saw the headline. Victim in critical condition after hit-and-run in Lakewood. Date, April 15th. Time, 8:27 p.m. Location, 2 towns over from where we were that night. I clicked. The article was short. A 19-year-old boy hit while walking home from a friend's house. The driver fled. Witnesses heard the crash, came running, called 911. The police found the car nearby. Abandoned. A black Chevy Tahoe. My mouth went dry. Ben drives a black Tahoe, always has. He even joked once that it was too suburban dad for someone without a kid, but it was roomy, and the family handed it down to him. I remember it now, from the party. He said he was going on an ice run. It was quick. Barely made a blip in the flow of the evening. But it happened. He left. I remember the sound of the engine. The way he peeled out of the driveway like he was in a rush. No one commented on it, no one even paused. Now I was frozen. Was it that same night? Was it around 8:27? I checked the photo gallery on my phone, timestamps, fire pit pics, and suddenly it hit me the exact moment I realized I hadn't just forgotten something. I'd overlooked it. I'd helped erase it. I called Mark, he picked up fast. Hey, what's up? Do you remember if Ben left during the party? I asked. My voice was too calm. I was trying to sound curious, not cornered. Mark didn't even pause. No, he said. You saw him, he was with us all night. That was it, flat, straight, like a line he'd practiced, like he already knew I might ask, and in that moment everything inside me turned. He wasn't asking me what I remembered. He was reminding me what I was supposed to say. That's when I realized I wasn't the witness, I was the script. I stared at my phone for a long time after the call ended. The silence on the other end had hung like a dare, like Mark was giving me space to fall back in line, but something had shifted. I went back to the photos I took that night, not just looking, scanning, zooming, checking timestamps. Looking for Ben, there was a group shot Mark asked me to take just before dark, everyone near the patio with drinks in hand, that golden hour kind of glow. Time, 8:09 p.m. No Ben. I checked the fire pit photo next. Someone had passed me the phone and told me to get the vibe. People standing around with skewers and beers. The kind of photo that ends up in group chats and anniversary slideshows. Time, 8:13 p.m. Still no Ben. The hit and run, 8:27 p.m. and now I couldn't stop replaying it the moment I heard his car. The way he pulled out of the driveway fast, not casual, urgent, and how no one mentioned it when he came back. Because no one needed to, because they already knew. I remembered Ben returning with a grocery bag and tossing it toward the cooler like nothing happened. Saying he forgot Sprite, that was it. Then he disappeared into a conversation with Mark near the side fence, both of them speaking in low tones. I thought nothing of it at the time. Two cousins catching up. Now, I wasn't sure if it was a debrief. I needed more than photos. So I called Janelle, Mark's younger sister. She was always the chatty one, the one who posted a million stories every time the family got together. She picked up right away. "Hey, what's up?" she chirped. "Hey, just trying to remember something from the party," I said casually. "What time did we light the fire pit?" There was a beat. I think around 8:30, she said. "Why?" "No reason," I lied. "Just thinking about the playlist flow." Another pause, shorter but there. "Oh," she said, "right." I hung up and opened the fire photo again. 8:13, not 8:30, which meant Ben was already gone. And not in the background of any of the shots. I was starting to see it. The gaps. The way they filled them in with smiles and hand squeezes and your family now speeches. And I realized that whole night I'd been snapping pictures, running playlists, keeping everyone in frame. I'd been so busy documenting the night, I hadn't noticed how they used me to frame it. I brought it up to Mark the next evening. He was on my couch, shoes off like he owned the place, scrolling through something on his phone. He looked up when I said his name, but only half interested. "I checked the photos," I said quietly. He didn't ask which ones. "I was looking at the timestamps. The group shot you asked me to take, Ben wasn't in it, the fire pit photos." "He's not there either." That was all around 8:13. Mark didn't move, I went on. "The hit and run happened at 8:27. Still nothing, no flinch, no sharp inhale. Just an almost imperceptible shift in how he held his shoulders a little straighter. Finally, he spoke. "You said what you said." That was it, just that, like the conversation was over. I stared at him. "You knew." "You knew he left." He met my eyes, his were calm, empty, not scared, not remorseful, just still. "You said what you said," he repeated, quieter this time. "Let's not undo that." Then he reached out, his hand brushed the couch between us. Slowly, deliberately, an invitation. I didn't take it. I didn't say anything for a long time, because I wasn't talking to the man I loved. I was talking to the man who'd handed me a script. The man who had used every ounce of my affection to protect someone else. And he thought that was enough, that I was enough, to cover the gaps, to plug the hole. He thought I'd stay bought. "I was just trying to help," I said finally. I didn't know I was helping hide something. He didn't respond, just let his hand fall back to his side. And I saw it the exact moment he gave up on convincing me. The thing that hurt most wasn't what he said. It was what he didn't. No denial, no outrage, no desperate explanation, because there was no explanation. There was only the version of the story I'd already told, and he expected me to stick to it. Not because it was true, but because it was convenient. That's when I knew I wasn't just a girlfriend anymore. I was a liability. The call came the next morning. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. I was still lying in bed, staring at the ceiling like sleep had betrayed me, but something in me knew. It was the same officer. The woman. "Miss Carter," she said, calm as ever, "we'd like to confirm your statement from last week. Are you available to talk today?" I sat up slowly. "Confirm it." "Yes, just a few details, timelines, names." My mouth went dry. I looked at my nightstand where my phone charger coiled like a noose. I had two choices. Stick to what I'd said, or tell them I remembered something differently. I closed my eyes. I thought of Mark's voice, flat and final. "You said what you said." I thought of Ben, laughing over a plate of ribs, driving off. Coming back like nothing had happened. I thought of the boy in the article, 19, walking home. And suddenly I felt it, the pressure of staying quiet, of protecting people who only saw me as useful until I asked the wrong questions. I think I need to update my statement," I said slowly. I remembered something wrong. There was a pause on the other end. Then the officer said, "Do you feel safe right now?" That question hit like a hammer, because I didn't know. Not really. I wasn't in danger in the traditional sense, but I was in danger of losing everything I thought I had. Mark, his family. The version of love they sold me, loud, loyal, all-consuming, but none of it was real. And I couldn't keep pretending. "Not sure," I said truthfully, but I didn't wait for her to offer protection. "I'll come in," I said, "today, just tell me when." She gave me a time. I hung up. And for the first time since that night, I felt clear, scared, shaking, but clear, because silence had been their safety net and I was about to cut through it. Mark showed up that night, not a text, not a call, just appeared. I saw his reflection before I saw him, standing outside my apartment building like a statue, hands in his pockets, hoodie pulled low, just waiting. I didn't go out at first. I watched him from behind the curtain for a minute, weighing whether to ignore him or confront him. But I was done hiding. When I opened the door and stepped out onto the walkway, he looked up, slow and tired. "You're going to destroy us over a misunderstanding?" he said. No hello, no apology, just that. I didn't answer right away. He stepped closer, voice low. "You're doing this for what, to be the hero? You think anyone's gonna thank you?" I didn't blink, then explain it. He didn't. He held my gaze, jaw tight, like he was deciding how far to push me. Then he said it slow, like it was supposed to mean something. "You were supposed to be part of this family." That one stung because he meant it, not as a comfort but as a contract. A threat wrapped in sentiment. I didn't yell, didn't cry, I just stood there and said I was. "Until you made me the shield." He didn't argue, didn't try to change my mind, just turned and walked away. And for once I didn't wish he'd turn back, because I knew now whatever we had wasn't real, it was leverage. A cover story. I wasn't part of the family, I was just the clean alibi. I walked into the station with a folder tucked under my arm, nothing dramatic. Just me in a hoodie and jeans, clutching proof that I hadn't imagined any of it. Inside the folder, a printed timeline. Timestamps from my phone's camera roll. Screenshots of texts with Janelle. A copy of the Hit and Run news article. And a short written statement. My hands were steady. Not because I wasn't afraid I was, but fear wasn't the loudest thing in my body anymore. Clarity was. The officer I'd spoken with met me in a small room. Same calm voice, same neutral eyes. She looked at the folder in my hands, a little surprised. "I thought I was protecting someone I loved," I said, sliding it across the table. "Turns out I was protecting someone who just needed me quiet." She nodded, taking the folder gently. "You're doing the right thing. I'm doing the necessary thing." I didn't sugarcoat it, I didn't cry, I just told her the truth. That Ben left during the party, that no one acknowledged it. That Mark told me what to say before I even realized I was saying it. That every piece of me that believed I belonged to something good had been twisted into a tool. She asked questions, I answered. When it was done, I didn't feel heroic. I felt clean, like I'd scrubbed something off my skin that had been sticking for weeks. I knew it would ripple, through Mark's family, through Janelle, through everyone who had said I was one of them. But I wasn't scared of that anymore. I didn't need to belong to a lie, not when I had the truth. Ben was arrested 2 days later, leaving work according to the article. No dramatic chase, no camera crews, just a quiet takedown. He was handcuffed in the parking lot of a hardware store. Someone posted the video on Facebook before the family could spin it. He didn't resist, didn't even look surprised, like he'd been waiting for it. I kept refreshing the article. The details were vague, new witness testimony, timeline inconsistencies, pending further investigation. My name wasn't mentioned, but the family knew. Mark never called, not once. He disappeared the same way he used me. Cleanly, silently, with zero explanation. But Janelle did, just one text. "Thank you, someone needed to say it." That's all it said, but it was the first thing that felt true since this started. Not "we miss you," not "why'd you do it," not "how could you." Just "thank you," and for a second I felt the thing I thought I'd lost, not the illusion of family, not the fake belonging, but recognition, not for being loyal, but for finally breaking the silence. And weirdly, that was the first time I actually felt like family, because families aren't just about who hugs you at dinner, they're about who tells the truth when it costs something. People ask if I'd do it again, if I'd turn on the people who brought me in, toasted to me, made room for me at their table. The answer's not complicated. I say, they welcomed me into a lie. I walked myself into the truth. And I sleep better now, not because I came out of it unscathed, I didn't. I lost Mark. I lost Sunday dinners and late-night texts from his mom, memes from his dad, group chats I didn't leave so much as get silently removed from. I lost the feeling of being part of something big and warm and chaotic, but I also stopped jumping at knocks on the door. I stopped waiting for someone to ask me to lie again. Stopped watching my own memories like surveillance footage, wondering what I missed. Now, when I look back at that night, the party, the laughter, the fire pit, I see everything they tried to blur, and I see myself. Not as the girl who got fooled, but as the woman who figured it out. They don't like that version, but I do, because it cost me something to become her, and I earned every part of who I am now. They don't say my name at family parties anymore. I know because Janelle told me quietly, in a voice note she sent one night when she couldn't sleep. She said, "You're kind of a ghost now." No one says it outright, but they all know, and no one wants to be the one to bring you up. I didn't feel sad when I listened to it. I felt free, Because for months, I thought their silence meant I'd done something wrong. That by telling the truth, I'd betrayed something sacred. But now I know better. I didn't betray the family. I exposed the lie that held it together. And when they tell the story, the one they still whisper about, the one with the arrest and the misunderstanding and the cousin who got caught up in something, I hope they get one thing right. I hope they start the story the way it deserves to be told. She told the truth, even when no one else did, even when it cost her everything, even when the people who toasted to her loyalty turned their backs the second she used it for something real. Because that truth, my truth, doesn't need their blessing. It stands on its own. And whether they speak my name or not, they'll never erase what I did. They'll never be able to say they didn't know. And I'll never need to apologize for refusing to stay silent. Not again, not ever. Thank you for watching. Please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I love you all.